not here to beat up on Dave Ramsey. He seems like a cool dude, somebody I'd probably enjoy drinking a beer with. But the only thing that makes me cringe more than hearing him say better than I deserve for the 5 millionth time is listening to him advise people on real estate, specifically on buying a house. In this video, I'm gonna go over 4 of Dave's rules that I believe are gonna make you poor and cause you to miss out on thousands of dollars of generational wealth if you follow Dave Ramsey's advice. Now, I'm a mortgage broker with over 20 years of experience helping people navigate the home buying process. And I'm a real person. And in real life, I have a house too. And in fact, my own personal real life story. If I would have followed Dave Ramsey's rules when it comes to buying a house, I probably wouldn't be a homeowner right now because I wouldn't be able to afford the home prices in the current market for where I want to live at the price that I want to pay per month if I would have followed Dave's rules. But instead, I did a VA loan. I'm a veteran. I qualify for 100% financing. I bought a house with no money down, and now it's worth more than double what I paid for it. I have a low, super low fixed monthly payment, so I've locked in my housing expense. I don't need to worry about my landlord or any of that stuff because that does not exist. And at the end of the day, I'm participating in the market and gaining appreciation, paying my loan balance down, and creating generational wealth for myself and my family. Now, if you haven't already, do me a huge favor. If you appreciate all the work that I'm putting into these videos, just do me a quick favor, tap that like button and make sure to subscribe so you get more videos like this. All right, so let's talk specifically about Dave Ramsey's rules when it comes to buying a house and why they're gonna make you broke. Now, Dave Ramsey's really big on being debt-free, and I don't think that you should live with a ton of debt. I'm not saying that that's a bad philosophy to follow, being debt-free. But some of his rules and practices when it comes specifically to purchasing real estate are completely unrealistic unless you were to hop into a time machine and go back 50 years when a home cost $40,000 or $50,000. All right, so Dave rule number 1 that will keep you poor.
Put down 20%, you avoid that, and it's about $75 a month per 100,000 borrowed.
Now, although this isn't a requirement of their rules, they really prefer and coach you to put 20% down. I totally get that, because if you don't make a 20% down payment, unless you're a veteran like me and getting a VA loan, you are gonna have something that's called private mortgage insurance, PMI. And PMI does add to your monthly payment. But if you follow my channel, you'll see the other videos that I've done about PMI, and PMI is actually ridiculously cheap. So in that clip, he says that private mortgage insurance is gonna cost like $75 to $100 per $100,000 that you borrow. He's way off on that. If you were doing a 3% down loan, so only putting 3% out of 100%, you're only coming up with 3. For every $100,000 you borrow, the PMI is only 21 bucks. So it's nowhere near being $75 to $100. Now, why do I think that this rule is gonna make you poor? Think about it. If you make, let's say you make $100,000 a year and you pay 20% of that in taxes, you're left with $80,000. It's not like you get to take all $80,000 and go stuff it away in your savings. You gotta pay your rent, you got groceries, you got gas, you got this, you got that, you got the kids. You got a ton of expenses. So you got to come up with 20% of 500,000, so that's $100,000. So if you make basically take home $80,000 a year and you have all these expenses, how many years is it going to take you to accumulate enough money where you have a 20% down payment? It's gonna take you a long time. In fact, like I said in the beginning of this video, I have been helping people buy houses for over 20 years. And you know how many people put 20% down or more on their purchase? Not very many. In fact, most first-time buyers, they're putting 5% down. The average down payment was closer to like 8% mathematically, but usually the loan is a 5% down loan. Well, what about all these people that are making massive down payments? Well, guess where they got that money from? Those are your move-up buyers. They're selling the previous house that they owned for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and they sold for a massive amount of profit because real estate appreciates on an average of 5.5% roughly, 5.35% year over year, going all the way back to 80 years average. So real estate's gonna keep going up in price over time. And so when you see people that are making large down payments, the overwhelming majority of these people, they didn't save up that down payment. They used their previous home's equity as the down payment. So if you're sitting on the sidelines trying to save up a 20% down payment, think about it. Home prices are not stagnant each month, each year. They keep going up while you wait on the sidelines, which means that you got to come up with more money for down payment, more money for closing costs. You're going to finance more, which means that your monthly payment will be more, in addition to your property taxes being more. Wait, pay more. So for this reason, Dave's rule about having a 20% down payment to avoid PMI, that's gonna cost you tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of loss appreciation, loss amortization, meanwhile, while you pay your landlord's mortgage payment for them. So what do you think about this rule? Do you think you need to have 20%? Do you agree with Dave? Do you disagree with me, or do you agree with me? I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Hey, are you thinking about buying a house, but you need help with your down payment? Well, you're not alone, and I've got you covered. I've created the ultimate down payment assistance guide, which is available for you to download for free below. I'm telling you, this guide will save you hours and hours of research. Hope you like it. Dave rule number 2 that'll keep you broke.
I won't yell at you if you don't, but I will yell at you if you violate this next one. Never buy a house on more than a 15-year mortgage.
Now, he says this all the time. You need to have a 15-year loan. 15-year loan. In fact, it's right on Ramsey's website on their mortgage calculator. Look at it. I mean, specifically, we never recommend 30-year fixed rate mortgages. They cost you thousands of dollars more in the long run because of high interest rates over a longer loan term. Having smaller monthly payments seems nice for now, but you'll carry more debt for much longer than you should. Okay, I totally am not disagreeing that you will pay less interest with a 15-year loan versus a 30-year loan. I mean, that's kind of like, thanks, Captain Obvious. But here's the thing, is that if you're following Dave's rules, which I'm gonna get to the next most absurd rule in his whole buying real estate process, but if you're having to base everything and qualify off of a 15-year loan versus a 30-year loan, the monthly payment on a 15-year loan is drastically higher than the monthly payment on a 30-year loan. And let's be realistic here. Most people that are applying for a mortgage, they don't qualify for a 15-year loan. Most of them, they barely qualify for a 30-year loan. So for people that want to become homeowners, the idea of having a 20% down payment and doing a 15-year loan, that's going to take you so far out of the game that you will either need to relocate to somewhere in BFE where home prices are still ridiculously low, like in the 1970s, or you're going to have to do what everybody else does and suck it up and do a 30-year mortgage, because that's realistically what most people can afford. So Dave's rule of a 15-year loan, I mean, this just exasperates the 20% down premise. I mean, think about it. If you need to be able to afford and qualify with a 15-year loan, how much down payment are you going to have to come up with? A heck of a lot more than 20%. You'll probably be like 50% down or some absurd number that's not going to be attainable for the overwhelming majority of potential home buyers. So again, I agree that a 15-year loan is better for you than a 30-year loan. But in reality, a very, very small group of people are going to be able to fit into the 15-year box. All right, Dave rule number 3 that'll cost you big time. And really, I think that this is the most absurd rule out of all of his stuff when it comes to buying real estate, especially when you add in the 15-year loan thing that I just got done talking about.
Don't buy a house on more than a 15-year mortgage, and never buy a house on a 15-year fixed rate where the payment is more than a fourth of your take-home pay.
Now, Dave says that you should do a mortgage on a 15-year term and that the payment should not be more than 25% of your take-home pay. Now, again, I get that. That totally sounds good on the surface, but let's do the math on this, okay? Let's say that you make $100,000 a year and, you pay roughly 20% in income taxes. You probably pay more than that. If you're in, the states that do the majority of real estate transactions, they also have higher income taxes. But let's just say that you're only paying 20% of your total income in taxes. You make $100K, so you're left with $80,000. So Ramsey says your mortgage payment shouldn't exceed 25% of $80,000 is what he's telling us, right? So we take 80,000, divide that by 12, you get $6,667. What's 25% of that? So that comes out to $1,667. So let's say that you're getting a 7% rate, which is really common right now. Heck, let's hop in our time machine and let's go back to 5%, which is totally unrealistic, but I just want to make a point at how absurd this rule is. So let's say that you're getting a 5% interest rate, which again, you're not going to get that in this market. And the mortgage payment can exceed $1,667. So at 5%, that gets you a mortgage of $309,000. But that's on a 30-year term. So if you add in his other rule of doing it on a 15-year term, well, that bumps you down to a $208,000 mortgage. So let's see, if you're following his other advice and you're coming up with 20%, so that puts you at roughly a purchase price of about $250,000 is what somebody that makes $100,000 a year can qualify for based off of Dave Ramsey's advice. Now, I don't know what planet Dave Ramsey lives on, but there's not many homes for sale at $250,000. There's barely any homes for sale at $400,000 or $500,000, let alone a couple $100,000. I totally get that the idea of only having your monthly payment be 25% of your take home on a 15-year term, 20% down. I mean, that sounds totally awesome. I mean, why would you not want to live like that? But the reality is that 99.9% of people aren't going to be able to fit into that box. And in the meantime, while you're waiting to fit into Dave's box, guess what? Home prices continue to appreciate. I mean, think about how much home prices have come up just over a 5-year period. It would take you at least that much time to save up the money that you would need in order to fit into that box. Probably you'll never even get to that point. I'm just kind of giving you the benefit of the doubt. But at the end of the day, if you follow Dave's advice when it comes to buying a house, you're probably never going to become a homeowner unless you're one of the crazy few that are able to fit within those standards. Dave rule number 4 that'll keep you poor. You shouldn't buy a home until all of your debt is paid off. Now again, Dave Ramsey, he's huge about being debt-free, and I'm not against that. Being debt-free is a great thing. And I totally agree that you should have an emergency fund, a rainy day fund for when the S hits the fan so that you're not screwed. But at the end of the day, just like my reasoning beforehand, if you're sitting on the sidelines, not owning while homes keep appreciating, that means that at some time in the future, when you decide that you're ready to become a homeowner, that you meet all of Dave Ramsey's rules, well, what are homes gonna cost at that point in time? How much money are you gonna have to come up with more for down payment, for closing costs? You're gonna have to finance more. You're gonna pay more in property taxes. I get that being debt-free would be optimal, but if you have debt and you can afford to service that debt and you can also afford to buy a home, there's really no reason why you should wait to purchase a house, because at the end of the day, it's gonna cost you more in the future. You're gonna pay way more than instead of just buying now, locking in that monthly payment, paying your own mortgage balance down, and gaining appreciation because you're in the market. And why should you care about sitting on the sidelines and missing out on things potentially? If you look at the net worth, the generational wealth, the net worth of a homeowner versus somebody that's a renter, the homeowner, they're worth over 40 times more than the renter. It's undisputed that owning real estate is one of the fastest ways to create wealth. It's one of the most stable ways to do it. We all need a place to live, so why pay somebody else's mortgage payment when you should be paying your own, building equity, paying down your balance, controlling your monthly payment, and doing it without waiting to meet all these stupid rules that Dave Ramsey wants you to be part of this total money makeover. I hope you got value out of this. If you did, please hit that like button. Let me know what you think. If you agree with me, if you think I'm crazy, whatever, put your comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. And if you'd like to work with me and my team, we'd love to help you get pre-approved for a mortgage. You can get our contact information in the link below, and I'll see you on the next video.